And welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Tuesday, August 22nd, 2017. Just want to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Not making any recommendations, always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here on this beautiful summer Tuesday morning with lots going on in the market. So with that, let's get into today's video. I always start my videos off with a look at the Russell Index. I like to use the Russell as my proxy for the markets overall. My goal is to keep these videos as short as possible. And so I choose one index, and that index is the Russell for me. So I like to step back and take a look at it on the bigger time frame. So I'm using the 5-year monthly. We're looking at the IWM, which is the ETF for the Russell 2000. Stepping back to take a look at it on the 5-year monthly time frame. We've been keeping an eye on this wedge. These are the monthly candles. This blue line is our long-term area of support resistance. Orange is medium and purple is short-term. So you can see we've been keeping an eye on this wedge since the beginning of the year. Look, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Candle for August not looking great so far and sitting right at this area of medium-term support. So we'll see how the index behaves in this area. This orange line has been rough support since the beginning of the year. Will it be support again here? We will see. But worth noting, so far for the month of August, we've got price on the Russell below the 8-day EMA, which I like to use as my guide. 8 more trading days in the month. So I'm going to move it away from the monthly to the 1-year weekly. Same orange line, blue line. We're going to ignore this blue line for now because we're not there yet. We're going to really focus on this orange line here. And this was our more short-term area of support resistance, which we blew through. Same diagonal trend line up here, this black one that offered resistance back here in February, in April, and again in July. So we're really focusing on this orange line here. And as we said in our video last week, to keep this wedge pattern in place and the overall uptrend in the markets in place, I would think that the Russell would have to start finding some support in this area here to be true to this prior swing low and lift. So we'll see how it behaves in this area. We're looking at the weekly chart, but I will be paying very close attention. Do we blow through it or do we go higher? We will see. So I'm going to move it away from the weekly to the 6-month daily. These are the daily candles. That's that same orange line. You can see that the market's thinking. It's stopped and it's pausing here. I'm filming this at about 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning. The futures look to be getting off to a solid start. So will we get that lift? We'll see. I use this blue line, which is the 8-day EMA, as my guide. When price on the Russell is moving up and over the 8-day EMA, I am adding names to my watch list. But when price is below, I'm just standing still and watching prior names. So not going to add any new names this morning, but I do want to go over a couple of the indexes that I think are worth paying attention to here and a handful of past Chart of the Day Cafe picks. They're loaded with value growth and they all pay a dividend that may be finding some support here. So if you want to stick around to hear about those, that's great. And if not, then we'll look for you in my video when I put it out on Thursday. Thanks very much. Since we're at this important area that may offer some support here, we will see. I just wanted to spin around and draw your attention to a few other charts that I think are worth paying attention to and perspectives that I think are interesting. So number one, I'm going to move it away from my plain study to, this is the 50 and 200 day. So I wanted you to note that the Russell Index, 1-year daily chart here, is in that 200-day area. It's below the 200-day, but in that area at support, worth kind of noting. The other one that I thought was interesting when I was spinning around this morning, transports, of course, IYT we're looking at here, which is the ETF for the transports, again at the 200-day, and had a little bit of, like, I'm going to zoom it in here. You can see that it had a doji stop and think about it candle for the day. Will it lift from here? We will see. But I just wanted you to note that the transports look to be sitting at an area that may offer some support here. And finally, retail. A lot of volume came into retail yesterday, so that's, I don't know if you can see it, it's a very skinny bar, but it's a very strong volume bar. Again, retail, and we're looking at RTH, which is the ETF for the retail sector, like the transports and the IWM, sitting at this area, rough area. It's below the 200-day, but in that zone, that may offer some support. And when I zoom it in, I want you to see the volume that came into retail yesterday and the shape of the candle, which would suggest a bullish, perhaps, maybe reversal here. So I thought that was worth pointing out. Now I want to cover 5 past chart of the day cafe picks that are sitting at areas that I think might be interesting. So here's my quick run through of some past chart of the day cafe featured charts that I think look interesting here, should the markets start to find some footing and move higher. The first one is ABBV. We put ABB forward back here in April, little green circle day. We're looking at the 1-year daily chart. It had beautiful lift from there. For me, it's all about price being up and over the blue line, which is the 8-day EMA. So sometimes we identify them early, but they're all about keeping an eye. Everyone has their own way of doing things. Mine is when price moves up and over the 8-day EMA. So ABBV had a beautiful run, kind of settled in, and it looks as though it might be teeing up again here. Gorgeous scores on it. If you know me and you know Chart of the Day Cafe, it is all about value and growth. I love to see beautiful high fundamental scores. So this one has a beautiful value score, a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 16%, and a current dividend yield of 3.62. So with price continuation and lift here, I think this one looks interesting. The next one is Kimberly-Clark. Going to go back to the 1 year. So we put it forward this green circle day here at this area of support. It kind of wonked around for a while and then it took off. I think Kimberly-Clark looks interesting here. I like this settling. I like the shape of this pattern here and the nice positive day it had yesterday. Should that price strength continue, Kimberly-Clark has the scores I look for on value, a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 12%, and a current dividend yield of 3.16. The next one, not last, we've got one more after this, is Southern Copper. We're looking at the 1-year chart, put it forward here, green circle day. I don't know if you can see that. It wonked around a little bit, found a little bit of lift, consolidated here, and then had a beautiful run into the area that we're in right now. Love that run. Love this. Price is being compressed in here. But it broke out the other day on volume. So it broke through my trend line, came back to retest it. Yesterday was a nice positive day. I like the look of this chart. As per the others, it's got a nice high value score. Forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 24% and a current dividend yield of 0.97%. And I checked all of these this morning. And lastly, Boeing. Oh my gosh, put Boeing forward a long, long time ago. Look at this beautiful chart. I love the way it's behaving in this area. I'm going to zoom it in. You can see the volume that came into Boeing, the enthusiasm. It hasn't got that positive candle yet, but should the markets find some footing here, this chart says to me that Boeing probably wants to go higher. I would be expecting a bullish candle in the next few days. It's all about the markets overall though. But I love the look of this chart, and it still has the value score I look for. It's got a forecasted earnings growth rate of 15% and a current dividend yield of 2.41. That's it. Have a great next couple of days. Our next video goes out on Thursday.